It's been a long time since I've done a commentary drive video, and I think it's time for an update. What is commentary driving? Commentary driving is a way of staying very in the moment. There is 4 stages of learning or 4 stages of consciousness when it comes to acquiring a new skill. Now, the first 2 are really not that important, so we're going to skip those 2 straight out of the way. The third one is consciously skilled, which means you are thinking about every action you take. And the last one is unconsciously skilled, which is when you don't need to think about your actions anymore. Have you ever arrived at a destination and then asked yourself the question, how did I get here? Now, obviously you've driven there, so you know you've done that, but you probably don't remember any of the journey unless something's happened on that journey that's triggered an emotional response where you can now remember what's actually occurred, and that's because you drove unconsciously skilled. If you are training to drive to a high level and you need to demonstrate that through either your part 2 or an exam or an IM, or if you are having to explain to your employer why you keep having accidents, then commentary driving is a tool that you can use to make sure that you are driving very consciously skilled. I have just done a session with an experienced driver, a driver who is a professional driver who drives for a supermarket and has had a few accidents, and he wanted to have a session because he wants to reduce the risk of these accidents occurring again. I had a conversation with this person and literally went through a junction that I was highlighting that if you were going to turn right into that junction that you can't see, where would you position, what would you do with your speed? I then asked him to drive just as he normally would, and he drove into that junction exactly how he said he wouldn't, because he was driving unconsciously skilled, whether he realized it or not. I'm going to take this next road on the right, and this is the particular junction that I was working with this experienced driver. Check my center mirror, my right mirror, and I indicate right. I can't see into that junction, so I'm going to position as far to the left as I possibly can. I then line up my wing mirror with the center white line of the new road, and it's quite lucky I did that because there's a vehicle coming. I also know that person. That's Derek. Big shout out to Derek, he's a great instructor. There's a couple of caveats surrounding commentary driving. If you find yourself talking in a situation where you just need to be quiet, then be quiet. You don't have to keep talking. The other thing is when you're doing commentary driving, if you choose to use commentary driving in a driving test or an exam of some kind, do understand that it doesn't really matter what's coming out of your mouth, it matters what you are physically doing. For PDIs and for learner drivers, I would recommend that you start using your commentary driving right at the beginning. So you start using it for your basics. If you're thinking about your routines to move off and stop, so your POM routine or your MSM routine. So we start off, for example, with the POM routine to move off. So I'm going to start the engine again, and I look around my car. Nothing on my left shoulder, nothing on my left wing mirror, nothing in my rear view apart from there is a pedestrian coming, but she's a little bit far back, nothing ahead, nothing on my right hand side, nothing on my right shoulder. I'm going to signal because of all the people about, and then I drive on. I want to make sure that when I'm moving in on the left that I'm doing things to the right level. So again, I'm going to pull up on the left, so I check my center mirror and my left mirror so I don't forget. I'm going to put my signal on because there are people about. I'm going to pull up next to this tree, check those mirrors again, and get myself nicely lined up here. And once I've come to a stop, I'm going to put my handbrake on, put it in neutral, and cancel my signal. And that would be me using the commentary drive to make sure that I'm not forgetting the routines that I need when I'm driving. If these routines are completely new to you, PDIs, learn these routines. If you're turning left and right, your routines are the MSPSL routine, which breaks down as mirrors, signal, position, speed, and look. You need that for junctions to make sure that you're approaching them safely, defensively, and appropriately. And then I'm going to take this next road on the right to make sure that car doesn't pull out on me. I can see the junction up there. There it is, so I tell my routine, so mirror, mirror, there's now somebody behind me, signal, gonna position just left of the center, don't wanna cut this corner, so I line up my wing mirror with the center white line, and then I turn. And again, I'm just talking myself through the process of my actions. If you are struggling with these routines when it comes to your drive, then commentate on them. Use commentary driving to make sure that you're not forgetting to do your mirrors before you apply your signal. Make sure that if your signal's coming on late, that you're actually now working on timing of signal. So you can start using your commentary driving right at the beginning. If you are a learner driver and you are struggling with certain elements of the control of the car, then you can concentrate on that. So let's say, for example, you're driving a manual car and you're bringing the clutch up too quickly. Tell yourself, bring the clutch up halfway to the biting point, hold it, pause for a second or two before you gently start to ease off the clutch. Tell yourself to do that. You can use commentary driving to do that. But what is commentary driving most commonly used for? Now, I would say commentary driving is used for your development and awareness of hazards. You can use commentary driving to align yourself into a more defensive drive. I've got vehicles now on the left-hand side. They are learner drivers. They could move off. There's also that red car just down on the right-hand side, so I need to be careful. I'm positioned in the middle of the road. I'm doing about 16 miles an hour. I'm now going to pick up my speed, but I'm approaching a blind corner. I can't see around it, so I'm going to check my mirrors and reduce my speed. I'm aware of the risks and the dangers, so I'm not going to rush. Looking ahead, I've got the parked van, so again, I'm going to check my center mirror, my right mirror, and I change position, and I move around this car. I've then got that other car coming up towards me. They could try and push through. I'm going to hold back and allow them to come through. I don't want to force the situation, and I think it would be right for me to hold back. And I get a thank you. Okay, so I'm going to check my center mirror, my right mirror, and my shoulder, and I'm going to drive on. Ask yourself the question, if I'm approaching something, can I stop in time? This is where you need to start bringing in your awareness of hazards. So this man is walking across the road. He's probably connected with this truck here. He's going to struggle to get out of the way. He's got quite a lot of stuff there. I've got oncoming vehicles. I can't really encroach too much on that side just yet. I can now move around, give him the room that you need. If I'm driving down a road and I see a van, I look over it, under it, and around it, and I see activity, or I anticipate there could be activity around it, watch how I respond to that, specifically what my speed is doing, my approach speed. I'm now entering a high street, and I'm going to use commentary drive to highlight the areas that I think could possibly be an issue. So again, I'm checking all three mirrors. I'm telling myself to check those mirrors so I don't forget. I've got the van. It's got hazard warning lights on. I've got vehicles with brake lights, indicators, could be hazard warning lights up ahead. It's a hazard warning light. I keep my speed down. I'm not doing more than 13 miles an hour at the moment. I've now got an oncoming bus, which is going to squeeze the road, which means I'm going to get closer to these parked cars. And this car is sticking out. So again, I'm not going to rush. I'm doing 12 miles an hour. I've got this vehicle that's now pulled up on the right-hand side across me. Shouldn't really be doing that in a high street. I know it's part of your test. That's probably not what you want to be doing in a high street. And again, with these vehicles here on the left and that man that's there by the van, I don't know what he's going to do. He's having a conversation. Then I've got the lights. These lights could turn. I've then got the UPS van, and this is all quite close. And this man who just stepped out in front. At the roundabout, I'm going to turn right, so I check my center mirror, my right mirror. I'm going to indicate right. I'm going to position in the right-hand lane, and I'm looking to the right. I'm not sure where that bus is going. That bus is going that way. Make sure that there's no overtaking vehicles of that bus. Enter the new road, new mirrors, so that you are not reacting to situations, you are planning and anticipating. These are the buzzwords that are constantly used, planning and anticipation. So you're able to not fall into mistakes when it comes to, for example, something simple like turning into a junction. This video is, I'm calling all PDIs here. If you are in training to become a driving instructor, you need to raise your driving to a level in order to pass your part 2. When you go into your training, the training is kind of the tip of the iceberg. It's not a huge amount, but just like an iceberg, you can only see the tip, which is the training. The rest is underwater, which is you going out and doing private practice. It's up to you to make the difference when it comes to you changing your driving style. Coming up to the now infamous Mill Hill Circus, I'm going to turn right, third exit there. So I need to change position using my commentary drive, remind myself to check my center mirror, my right mirror. Going to indicate right, going to make sure that van gets some benefit from my signal. Maybe glance on my shoulder just to make sure there's nobody there, and then I move into position. I'm now looking at the lights using my commentary drive. I'm thinking those lights have been green for a while. They could change on me, so I'm not going to rush. Check my center mirror, my right mirror. I'm now going to indicate right for the junction, because again, using my routine, moving to this position, still aware that these lights could turn. They don't turn. Count my exits 1. Now this is quite a tricky exit on this one. I need to get across to the middle lane. So check my center mirror, my left mirror. I've got that Porsche, or no, Tesla on my left. And then I move into this middle lane. And on this particular roundabout, it's totally fine to exit from the middle lane. It's almost impossible to get across to that left-hand lane. If you do find yourself in this lane here though, do not try to exit. I do have this woman on my right-hand side. She might try and take the exit. Got somebody here having something to eat. I guess that's okay. But I'm also aware of what's going on around me and about me. So on my left-hand side, I've still got a red light in front of me. Gonna make sure it's safe for me to exit. And then center mirror, left mirror. Just being aware of this vehicle on my left-hand side. She's moved off quite slowly. It is no substitute to going out and having a training session, but you should be able to get stuff in here that will help to develop and improve your driving skill. Now, everything's happening quite quickly, so I want to throw my gaze ahead. I look under the car, I look over, I look round it, nothing there. I've got the van with the hazard warning lights on, so I'm already off the gas just in case there's somebody around. I come around and the road opens up. The road opens up, my speed opens up. Looking ahead, I've got a bus stop. The van has gone around the bend to take this next road on the left. The speed is dropping to 20, so I check my center mirror, my left mirror. I signal left. I can't see into that junction, so this is exactly the sort of thing that I was working on with that experienced driver. I slow right down. I turn into the junction. Enter the new road, new mirrors. I'm going to use this car as a shield. They need the space. Check my center mirror, my right mirror, my shoulder as I move round. Got an AA car parked up on the right-hand side. Could be people in that, there probably is, they're probably on a lesson. I've got cars with lights on, that's got lights on, those lights have just gone off. That tells me there's somebody in that vehicle or they've just switched the alarm off. Looking in the wing mirror, I can see somebody sitting in that car, so I certainly don't want to get too close to it. Again, coming to a blind corner with vehicles parked on the left-hand side. If a van comes, I'm in trouble. So I slow down and make sure that I position as well to the left as I possibly can to avoid any potential conflict. I'm going to pull up on the left, center mirror, left mirror, indicate left. Hopefully give this Fiesta enough time. I'm going to stop straight away, I'm going to move into this spot here and then come to a stop. Handbrake neutral, cancel my signal. If you are a PDI in training, you are going to have to get used to talking a lot, because when you are guiding or prompting somebody, you have to be very verbal. If you want to start developing those skills, you start developing them now in your part 2 when you are training to pass your driving exam. I hope this video has given you something for you to go away and work on if you are struggling in certain areas within your driving and finding yourself reacting to situations rather than planning for them. If this video has been of any value to you, hit that like button, subscribe if you like more content, and then I will see you in the next one. And for now, get well out.